Hello, everybody, and welcome to another part of our hunting guide series here from Monster Hunter Wilds. And today we're going to be going over the heavy bowgun. So, I am not a master of this weapon by any means. However, I can tell you what I know about it. So, my understanding of how the weapon works is essentially you have all these different ammos that you have at your disposal, and they have made some of them quite a bit wider variety in terms of, like, used to be you didn't have infinite level 1 piercing ammo, I didn't think. I'm not 100% positive I'm correct about that, but yeah. And then as far as how to actually be using the weapon, so obviously you have your, if you can aim with, I do not be using demon ammo. One moment. You aim with your left trigger to get yourself in focus mode, but you can also fire while not in focus mode, but as you can see, you have a terrible time aiming. And Y is your reload. Mode switch here lets you put your thing on, and this essentially puts you into a rapid fire mode. But we shall save that for when we actually go hunting. And then you actually have a guard with heavy bowgun specifically. You can press YB together and you can try and block attacks. It's rather interesting in my opinion, but it is in fact something you can do. So essentially, everything you're doing is going to revolve around using your various ammo types to match a monster's elemental weaknesses, etc. So, I feel like without further ado, we can just go ahead and hop right in here and go ahead and do a hunt. So, hello, volunteer. Now, again, because I am not an expert on how this weapon actually works, I have no idea if I'm actually using it correctly in terms of the various ammo types and all that. So, I might get that wrong. I also can't seem to land the Wyvern's Fire. Or not Wyvern's Fire. Oh, the focus strike. However, I do happen to know that Mr. Amphibious Man here is in fact weak to electricity, so we may as well use some of it to haunt him. How am I missing that? There we go. Oh shoot. Too used to playing games with different controls. But yeah, as you can see, it's a very simplistic weapon. You point it at the monster, you shoot. Don't be like me and be too close, because otherwise you get ineffective damage. Can I even shoot? Nope, not from the back. At least not with the regular trigger button. Interesting. You can try and hit your focus strikes while mounted up. Was not expecting that. Nice arm you got there. Okay, so yes, that's the key thing about how to play the ranged weapons, is they have a finite range of where you get your critical hit damage, and I think it may also matter for hit zone, in the sense of, like, I don't think that they are necessarily like they are with Gunlance, for instance, where if you just shoot the monster anywhere within the right range that you would get all of the parts or anything like that by any means. I believe it is still reliant on hit zone. But as I say, I'm not overly proficient with the with the bow guns. I just never have used them much. But I can share the little knowledge that I do have. And so, yeah, that's mostly it. Know your monsters, know your ammo types, know their range, and if you can do all that, you can take down any monster pretty easy, especially since you can just, more often than not, end up backing away from the monster for the most part more than it would keep up with you. It obviously depends on what monster you're fighting and how aggressive it is. Like, you know, trying to fight something like Ray Dow is obviously going to be a lot harder than fighting the frog, because of it moves a lot more and all that kind of jazz. Or something as aggressive as the Shogma, it, you know, getting up in your face and all that would be a much bigger problem. And that's why you have different ammo types, because they work at different ranges to different effectiveness. And so learning all that is where the nuance of the bowgun weapons come into play. And so, yeah, I hope that that can be useful to you in helping to figure out just a little bit of whether or not you would like to use a bowgun, or maybe even might learn you a little bit thing or two if you didn't know it already. But without further ado, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.